Hi, this is Keith Ward with Visual Studio Magazine, and joining me now is speaker Michael Washington. Michael, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's start by talking about some of the sessions you've been presenting here at VS Live this week.
So I'll be speaking about LightSwitch. I'll have two sessions. The first session, I'm going to be talking about the new LightSwitch HTML client, which is meant to build mobile applications. On my second session, I will be covering all the various ways to connect with LightSwitch via OData. Let's say you have like a Windows app or an iPhone app. You can actually connect to LightSwitch, connect to the business layer. So my other talk will be about that.
Okay, great. So LightSwitch is something that you speak on a lot and you're very familiar with. I'm not sure how much the broader development community is with LightSwitch, however. So can you give us kind of a high-level overview of what it is and what it's meant to do?
Essentially, LightSwitch is a product of Visual Studio. So Visual Studio is about building the best tools, best tool to build applications. Right. LightSwitch is at a higher level. So it allows you to provision the database, the business rules, the back end, and then also do the client. So the very first version of LightSwitch used Silverlight for its front end. The current version of LightSwitch, which is currently in CTP and should be released soon, will allow you to build HTML5 front ends. The back end is still the same. So it allows you to just model your entire application. You then publish the application as a ASP.NET application using SQL Server as the back end. The code inside, it's still using Entity Framework. WCF is inside there. It's just a tool that gives you more of an overview. The experience is a bit like you would have, say, with Microsoft Access. But unlike Access, it's not really a black box. You can view, when you view the code, it's a normal Visual Studio project. So kind of think of it as kind of like a template, kind of like a MVC would be a template, but a lot more powerful because it has a lot more functionality.
Okay, so when you say it's part of Visual Studio, just to clarify, you mean it comes with the product, you don't need to download, you don't need to install or buy LightSwitch separately?
Right, so when you install Visual Studio, the latest version of Visual Studio, you actually have LightSwitch inside there. The only difference is that the current version will only have the Silverlight client. So if you want the HTML client, which is what I'll be talking about at my talks here, you'll have to download the add-on CTP, and then when they finally release it, again, it'll be the add-on that you download and install. But like I said, it's just like another project, kind of like when MVC went to MVC4, you just downloaded it, installed it, and it was there.
Okay, so LightSwitch, is this something for experienced developers to use? It has, I think, sort of the reputation of being something that's a little easier for non-hardcore developers to use. Is that an accurate impression?
The LightSwitch team is clearly going after, as a primary focus, allowing you to quickly create applications. So quickly and easily is where they're going for. Obviously, it's in Visual Studio, so if you're not a person who would open a Visual Studio, it's really not the product for you. Okay. However, at the same time, independent person like myself, I really want to be able to use it for everything I'm doing. So I spent a lot of time on my website. I have about 80 sample applications that people can download where I've been pushing it further and further, and I have not hit a wall yet. So you find that the flexibility isn't compromised, although it does maybe more of the plumbing for you. Right. I think if you look at something like Entity Framework, it's fast and easy, right? Just boom, drag your tables over, it works. However, we all know the Entity Framework is a very complex thing, and there's all these points where you can customize things. So LightSwitch is exactly the same thing, so that you don't have to get deep into it if you don't want to, but if you do, it can do it. Okay, so who is the target developer for LightSwitch? Is it a web dev? Is it someone who's doing desktop apps, or do you think it sort of goes beyond those categories? Initially, LightSwitch, when they had the Silverlight client, was rapid desktop applications. With the new HTML client, they're really going after mobile. And it's amazing because the mobile story is something that, for example, I work in education. A lot of the teachers need to get their attendance in. Currently, right now, they have to go to their desktops to put the attendance in. They all have, the tablets and their phones. It would be, but they can't get work done on there unless I, of course, make an app. Well, with LightSwitch, in about 15 minutes, I can create an application that works on all different form factors. LightSwitch uses jQuery Mobile, so it automatically sizes to, if you have a small phone or a bigger tablet or even the desktop. So it allows me to quickly, make the apps for that. So that I would say that their current, with the HTML client, they're really going after mobile. And they're also going after SharePoint. Also, again, because SharePoint also needs the mobile story. So I think that this year, it's really about mobile.
Do you find that developer awareness of LightSwitch and what it can do is increasing?
Yes, of course, because it's now built into Visual Studio. So if you have the latest Visual Studio, you actually have LightSwitch. I think, though, that Microsoft is looking ahead, and they realize that, again, the mobile story is something that a lot of developers are not thinking about. They're starting to get into it, and that as people realize, oh my God, I really don't have a mobile story, that hopefully they'll realize that LightSwitch does have a mobile story, and that over this year, I think the use will pick up quite a bit. But it is a shift from being primarily desktop with Silverlight to now they're making HTML5 mobile clients. So that is kind of a shift.
Michael, thank you for joining us at Visual Studio Live.
Thank you for having me.